If you ever look on YouTube, you look up Travis Walton, Larry King.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me and Philip.
Yeah.
I mean, Philip Class. Philip Mantle didn't put this in the book. He did edit this out because he thought it was too abrupt. But during our little meeting with Philip Class, I finally telling him, look, I'm going to rip your head off, piss down your throat while you're dying. And that's when I got thrown out of the restaurant in New Orleans. It's all in the book, except Philip Mantle left that
little detail.
Yeah, because he thought it would be too brutal for people to read.
I'd like to say something, Greg.
But I told him, I said, don't edit it out, leave it in there, because it's the truth.
He's like, dude, Mr. Parker, I've got to, I know some of these people that know him. I got to keep, you know why I got those documents? Because I'm going to glad hand people sometimes if you.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Oh boy!
So he's gonna rip off his head
and take a shit down his
throat.
Play the next soundboard clip. If you mess with me, Rob, you better watch out.
I'm gonna rip your head off, piss down your throat while you're dying.
While you're dying.
God,
so it was a nice.
While you're dying.
It was a nice modification on that Full Metal Jacket quote, right? Is that what it's from?
If this isn't a great ad for that book, I don't know what is. This stuff's in there. That was the only part that was left out. So the whole scenario with Philip Class in the book, but we get the good outtakes.
Christ.
We get the great clips.
That was great.
Wow, I love it.
And
I love that.
It's an Unbelievers exclusive.
That's like a real hate too. That's real anger. Like you only say that about somebody if you really fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Like, if you despise that person.
I've got people that I really, really, really fucking hate, and I haven't even said quite those words. Like, but
well, keep that
now that he's put it in my head, I'm thinking.
Keep it as your ringtone for him, and then you can just say,
I'm going to rip your head off, piss down your throat while you're dying.
While you're dying.
While you're dying.
That is true unadulterated hate. Yeah.
It is. And you have to get really worked up, and he had to push him very far for that band to have to say that. But since the topic of Larry King was brought up, too, here is Mr. Parker telling us about an experience that he had being on a news channel show. Let's hear about that.
Just the way the city has embraced this is great.
I went on Water's World on Fox News.
Oh, really?
Did y'all miss? It's online. And we was going along with the interview. Well, he finally come in, Jesse Waters, and said, look, we got breaking news. I'm going to have to cut you short. Through my earpiece. He said, you're going to have to stop. I told that cameraman, I said, you keep rolling. I don't give a damn if he is your boss. Keep rolling. Then when I found out what the breaking news was, he said, Ernie and Bernie come out of the closet. So, on Sesame Street.
Breaking news.
Yeah. I said, that ain't breaking news. So I went ahead and did my spiel. Well, it made them all mad, and they pulled me to the side over there, because this was live TV going on. And they didn't want to cut away. And finally, Waters just went in there and we finished up in the agreed amount of time. And it turned out real good. But
well, did you ever think you live in a world where you have to worry about Ernie and Bernie
coming
out?
No.
What?
That's great.
Okay,
no.
So they were going to bump him on a newscast because it was breaking news that Ernie and Bernie were coming out of the closet.
Ernie and Bernie.
He said, Ernie and Bernie come out of the closet.
I was very confused for a second, and then I remembered. Now I figured out what he was trying to say, what he was referring to. That's
really,
it
was Ernie Kovac
really
and Bernie Sanders had come out of the closet.
Pretty good.
Ernie Borgnine.
Pretty good.
He's in the ballpark. He's pretty close. He's close enough. He's close enough.
It was funny.
Look, if they're gonna bump your important segment and they call that the breaking news, he can call him whatever he wants. He can say.
He said, Ernie and Bernie come out of the closet.
That's fine. I say, nope. I think I will stay on camera. But I just think that speaks to his character as a guy.
Okay, Diane, that's fine. We're coming over.
He's not going to say, it's fine, I'm coming over. He's just going to, look, I'm here to do my news segment. I want to do my news segment. I don't care if...
Ernie and Bernie come out of the closet.
So what? But speaking of Parker doing badass things, here's what he does to Bud Hopkins.
Oh, shit.
This involving you is with Bud Hopkins. Now, this was before when Bud Hopkins actually did your regression. What did you have to tell him?
Well, we went in to talk to Bud, and that's like I told him. Don't make me I've seen these shows in Las Vegas where they make them get up and do stupid stuff, put stupid things in their head and all. And I said, this isn't no floor show. I said, I got a ball bat in the trunk of the car, and I'm fixing to go get it, and I'm going to give it to my friend. And if you make me do something stupid or put stupid ideas in my head, he's going to beat your brains out with it and hand me the ball bat and leave.
Like you're thinking he might have you like clucking like a chicken or something, or trying to do ballet.
Put shit in my brain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is another thing. Cause
it is. You got to be careful. That's why
this has happened to you before. Didn't when Dr. Harder hypnotized you? Didn't he put something in your brain that basically said, "Yeah, you're only going to remember this when you're ready."
Right.
When you're ready was almost like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Because you didn't. This was not mentioned in the '87 documentary. Or I think it would have. It felt like it was just Charles Hickson talking about more recent stuff. You were kind of like, "Look, it happened. This happened. Cameras were smashed. Ball bats were in trucks and ready." But so when he goes, so your message was put in your head. So when Bud Hopkins is doing, but Bud thought you were joking too, right?
No, he knew I was serious. He knew dang well I was serious.
That's so funny.
Now, this thing, I just got re-hypnotized just for this other book, and the transcripts come out in the new book. And I hand chose her. But when I was at the UFO Congress in Phoenix, Kathleen Martin had a booth right by mine, close to it. And we got to know each other. Well, she's trained in forensic science and this hypnosis and all that. And she could sit there and talk to you a few minutes and tell her you're lying.
Yeah.
Well, I knew right then, I didn't care what it cost, I wanted her. What I didn't like about Bud, though, I mean, he would lead you into...
I heard you mention
different things.
So he had leading questions under hypnosis, too.
Right. And I didn't want nobody to lead me anywhere. Now, but I didn't know all this back then. I didn't know Bud Hopkins. Now, Kathleen Martin, she don't lead you nowhere. I mean...
Yeah, she's just kind of
black and
pure
white
hypnosis. And, so I'm excited to read your new book.
Okay. So he has had a lot of issues with hypnotic regression stemming from this Bud Hopkins stuff, and he warned him off with his baseball bat to better not be putting anything in my brain. And I don't blame the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's already had aliens putting things up his nose. That makes
he
sense.
He said that
he
had Dr. Harder who hypnotized him almost a day after this happened and put stuff in his brain that didn't come out 2 years later.
Even harder.
They inserted something into me. I blacked out.
And his last name has to be Harder. Like, really?
That's who he was. But Bud Hopkins didn't work out, but he is very happy with his new hypnotic regression professional, and that's
Specialist.
good.
So
but he's still out there doing badass things. Well, he's threatening Bud Hopkins. Yeah. He's threatening Philip Glass. He's not taking it from all these charlatans or these people pushing him too far, wanting to know too much.
No, and that's how you can tell when someone's legitimate. They're not going to back down. Like, okay, there's the Sylvia Browns of the world who they double down, but you can feel like by their anger and like how, like, I don't know, their defensiveness that they're okay. You're full of shit. But this guy, Calvin Parker, he's not.
Don't mess.
He's
with
not.
him.
Yeah, he's not being defensive. He's just like, fuck you. No, like I'm just not.
There's also some people you just don't fuck with.
Yeah,
and it sounds like Calvin is one of those dudes. You put a camera in his face, he will smack the shit out of that camera.
I'm gonna tell you what I saw, and I'm gonna tell you time and time again, and it's gonna be consistent. And
if you take advantage of him, he'll beat you with a baseball bat.
I love
or he'll have his friend beat you with a baseball bat.
Yeah, don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and don't mess with Calvin. We'll have to change that song. Kind of fits. I do bring up something that we focused on in the first Pascagoula episode, and that is everyone calling Calvin scared and how he passed out from the fright. Remember the clip? You have that clip, Rob.
Oh, man.
The young man fainted with fright.
You remember that issue kept coming up, but it turned out that he was just drugged by him anyway. Well, here he goes into that.
You really do come off as like one of the bravest abductees, I will say, in the most recent, the 93 one.
I have to say now, I was scared. It scared me to death, but it would scare, I don't care how seasoned of a person you are, it would scare anybody. It's the same thing if you're sitting in your couch watching TV. Somebody kicks the door down and comes in and grabs you and takes you to the van and runs their finger down your throat and their nose and everything else. That's home invasion. That's a crime. And that's what was going on with me. And of course that'll scare you. I know if it was here on Earth and I was sitting on my couch, somebody kicked the door down, I'd shoot them.
Right?
No doubt in my mind.
Yes, sir.
That's why they're picking on you when you're fishing. If you're out there hunting, you could.
Right.
It might be different, but they see that they're like, oh, fishing rods, flying rods.
Oh God, Russ. Really? Oh, you went there. Of course you had to.
Unfortunately, I just made a rod reference. This was almost too much. I could see it. I could see it on his face when I said that he thought that I might have been up to something. So
Sky News 9 in 1999.
Those rods are huge, man.
In 1999. Yeah.
I
Wait,
that
so
rod-
he gave
that-
you a look when you mentioned
Your rod
rods.
went right over his head.
It wasn't
Flew
a-
right
it was-
over his head,
Well,
man.
thank God
I
it
could
missed
see
his
the-
head.
I could see on his face. I could see on his face that he thought that I might be trying to take this somewhere weird, and I wasn't. So I reeled in the rods. We move on, and here we are with a question about Calvin's interests in ufology.
Kind of just in general, are there any other alien cases beyond yours that do you actually have any interest in the subject, like in general?
Not really. You know, I've enjoyed meeting the people at these conferences, listening to the stories. I've enjoyed meeting people in general because for so long I stayed out of the public. You can ask my wife when you get back in there. I didn't even talk to her about it till this book was ready to come out. And I have to say, you know, it hadn't been easy. You know, there's times that she should have kicked me out.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have blamed her. And it hadn't been easy on it. But the one thing about you keep a secret from a woman for 45 years, and
all women do is hold a grudge after
it's
that.
not a good idea.
No.
Not if you want to keep her.
Yes,
But she stayed in there with me. She was young when we got married, and this has opened our marriage up. I have to say, coming out with this book and all. And it was actually her idea. You know, I got to give Philip Mantle the credit for one thing. The only thing in my book that he changed was a bologna sandwich to a blondie sandwich. And he said he didn't understand.
He didn't know what bologna was?
Yeah. He said, I thought you might have misspelled it or something. So, and the second book is a lot better book than the first.
I'm excited. I've heard you say that this is like all based off the regression stuff. It's like, I know the story, it's been around, you know, going on, 46 years now, but there's a lot of new stuff out there, especially this is this exciting stuff with this.
And I didn't want to do the first book. Keep in mind, that was,
right.
I felt like I had to.
Let alone two.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I have to get this out. It's time.
And the second book, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He did. And I will say, I have the second book. He signed it for me, and it is huge. And if you are just a fanboy or you want to know more about this book is huge, man.
Sky News 9 in 1999.
Those rods are huge, man.
Yes, those rods are huge, and I am definitely a fanboy.
If you want to just see every depiction ever of wrinkly aliens, it is in this book. Every poster, magazine cover, anything involving this case is in this book. It's really, really good book.
Is there like a centerfold? Because I'm picturing all kinds of aliens. Wrinkly aliens.
There might be the blonde centerfold. We don't know.
Yeah, the one he had up against the wall. I want to see that one.
There we go. But here, Mikey's going to get a question in. He has a question about the other event to happen with Mr. Parker involving, we're going back again, that female alien.
Cool.
Can we ask about the Pearl River incident that you had?
Yeah, that was one of them fishing trips where Charles Hickson, my father, went, and they took all of us kids, his sons, his daughters, and me and my brother. And when we was there, I felt the urge. Well, actually, I walked to the side of the woods to pee.
Yes, sir.
And that's when I felt the urge, something kind of pulling me in that way. And it was this alien woman.
The same
one.
Yes, sir.
So she was just in the woods, just herself, no ship, no wrinkly alien, just her on her own, right by the Pearl River?
And I'm thinking she was there for a reason, but I don't know the reason.
Had she looked any different? Like, you identify her as the same woman, a female alien from the 73 time, right? Did she look like she had aged at all, or that she could maybe...
Not to me, she did.
Maybe she's just time traveling, or they're just some kind of ancient race? Yeah, that's the thing. As far as stuff like that goes, it's like, we don't know. We may never know.
We don't know, right.
That's right. That's why when we have our logo, we just have to say...